Hey, my summer school class. I am super excited to see you. We are going to have a great 4 weeks together. This is going to be fun. We're going to learn about the oceans. We're going to learn about forest. We're going to learn about deserts. And we're also going to learn about rainforest. And those are all important habitats in our Earth, on our Earth, not in, on our Earth. So I just want to prep you for what summer school is going to be about. One of the reasons I really wanted to do that is our world, we are becoming more connected. And so we should know about our world. And we should understand all the parts of it. So this week we are starting with the ocean. In this video today, first I will go over your spelling words for this week, and then we'll begin talking about the ocean. It's pretty simple. All right, but it's not simple because the ocean is a lot to talk about. The first spelling word, you might be able to guess it, is ocean. Okay, ocean is spelled O-C-E-A-N, ocean. When you go to our Google Classroom, you can use you can see the spelling words, and there'll be some activities for you to practice spelling the word ocean. Okay, there's a little picture of the ocean. In the ocean, there's lots of different creatures that live there. Sometimes people like to swim in the ocean. Swim is the next spelling word. It is spelled S-W-I-M. Swim. Right? Some people swim in the ocean. Some people swim in swimming pools. It's fun to do. It's good workout. It's healthy. But sometimes when we swim in the ocean, we have to watch out for doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo. Just kidding. We have to watch out for sharks. So the spelling word is shark is spelled S-H-A-R-K. All right, shark. The one thing you might not know about Miss Machado is that when I was younger, a little healthier, a little slimmer, I did scuba diving. Scuba diving is actually a lot of hard work. Your equipment's very heavy. And one time I got to swim by a coral reef. So on a coral reef, there is coral. All right, and coral is a is a beautiful organism. I don't want to call it a plant. That lives, and it's very colorful, and you have lots of beautiful fish that live in and out of the coral reefs, and it's very pretty. When you think of the pretty part of the ocean, a lot of times you're thinking about the coral. And then I'm sorry, and coral is spelled C-O-R-A-L. All right. And then our next word is reef. The reef is where the coral it's where the coral lives. R-E-E-F, reef. Right. So you see in this picture that represents a coral reef. It's a drawing. It's not actually a picture. There's some of these like sponges type things and the ground, and then there's these corals that are growing on the reef. So those are our spelling words. We're take our test on Friday. I'm really excited to see how you guys are going to do this week, and just proud of you guys. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to move on to talk about the ocean. Now I'm trying to get a little better about technology, and I'm going to try to add some pictures into this video. If I can't, I'm sorry, and I'm sure by the end of summer school I'll have it figured out. Because I think pictures would really help us understand more about the ocean, because you know what? When I sat down and started thinking, well, what am I going to teach them about the ocean? I was like, oh my gosh, there is so much to learn about the ocean. I mean, the ocean is it's huge. It is so big. Do you know that for every person that lives, that's alive, there is 100 billion gallons of water in the ocean. So for everyone who's alive, there is 100 billion gallons of ocean water. All right, that's crazy. So if we took all the land that is on the earth and we put it all together and we covered it with water, we'd have to cover it with water twice, 2 times, all the land, America, South America, Antarctica, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, all those places. You're gonna cover it with water and cover it again, because that is how much water there is. There is more water and more ocean, I should say, on the planet than there is land. That is just gigantic. And also, the ocean is super important because without the ocean, we would not have any life on Earth. All life needs to have water, and the ocean supports so much of the life on Earth. So, I guess the first thing that we really need to touch on, other than the ocean is huge and it's a huge topic and we don't know everything about it, is the first thing we need to touch on is that the ocean is a habitat. Hmm, habitat. Habitat. I know we've talked about, oh, I mentioned it earlier, but let me give you the definition right now. A habitat is an environment where species or organisms live. So, the ocean is an environment that things live in. So it's a habitat. And the ocean is a really large habitat, and a coral reef is also a habitat inside the ocean. So you can have a habitat in a habitat. All right. And the ocean has tons of different sea life, tons of different organisms living in it. And it makes it very important for us to know about that and to learn about that, because it helps us understand our world better and the way our world works. And so that's why this year in summer school we're going to study 4 habitats: the ocean, the desert, the forest, and the rainforest. Um, the next important thing for you to know about the ocean is that it's powerful. It can do amazing things. So when the ocean like hits a rock or like a hard wall, it can start hitting it and hitting it and hitting it, and it will slowly wear down the rock, and it can create caves. The ocean is powerful enough to create caves. The ocean also makes the beaches that we go to, because as the ocean hits the land with the waves, it deposits sand on the beach, and this sand that is deposited over and over and over again and becomes a beach. And so that's kind of interesting, because, and also oceans are powerful in the sense that some of those waves that come up can be 112 feet tall. That's gigantic, right? Huge. If a wave hits you, it hurts. I mean, it's got a lot of energy behind it. But it's not just that it's strong and it's got a lot of punch. It's consistent. It doesn't stop becoming waves and becoming waves and doing waves. And that's something we can learn from, huh? We can learn that sometimes, even if we don't have a lot of power like the ocean does, sometimes if we just keep working on something and working on something and working on something, we can make a big difference. And that's a good lesson that we can learn from the ocean, because the ocean does that every day. And the other thing about the ocean, that even though it's big and powerful and everything, it's bossed around. So if the ocean has a boss, who's the boss? It gets bossed around. The wind and the sun and the moon kind of boss around the ocean a little bit. The wind kind of creates the waves for the ocean, creates energy that creates these really big waves and crash down. The wind and the weather create hurricanes that begin in the ocean. The wind also creates currents, and currents kind of are like rivers that travel through the ocean and create this direction and energy. And the currents can also change the temperature of the water. It can change some animals follow the currents, um, and so those are, it's a pretty powerful thing. The wind has a lot of influence over the ocean. The other thing that's kind of more complicated is the sun and the moon. The sun and the moon create what's called tides in the ocean. Um, we see tides as the day, we can see tides, and it seems like as the day goes on, the ocean gets higher and the ocean gets lower. And it's not because it's getting more water and less water. It's not because it rains somewhere and the water's coming down, and so the ocean's getting bigger, and then it's evaporating, so the ocean's going down. That's not what scientists think is causing that. What people theorize is causing it, and most likely is what causing it, is that the Earth is here and the moon is here. And the moon, it has gravity, a gravitational force on the Earth. So that's what's kind of like pulls us towards and away from the Earth. And so where the moon is, it creates a force. And as the moon turns around the Earth, orbits around the Earth, use the right words, orbits around the Earth, it creates a force, and it actually lifts the ocean up towards the moon a little bit. And as that part of the Earth water is lifted up towards the ocean, the other parts that aren't being lifted up become lower because the water is being pulled that way, pulled towards the moon. And that's what causes high tides and low tides. When the sun and the moon and the earth are all lined up, that's where you'll have the biggest effect of the tides. And so that's where the water is most dramatically pulled away from the earth. And those are called spring tides. So the sun and the moon, and with the gravitational force, actually pulls the ocean farther away from the earth and closer to the moon. And we can see it. We can see it happening um, as we're watching the ocean through the day. And that's called tides. Um, the other thing about oceans, and probably the most fun, in my opinion, the most fun thing about the ocean, is it has tons of amazing animals. It has huge, gigantic animals like whales and sharks. There's even this fish called the oarfish, and it is like kind of like an eel, and it is as long as a school bus. That's crazy. Could you imagine swimming? Oh, I'm just swimming, having a good time. And then out comes this fish, and it's long, and it is the size of the a school bus. It would scare me so bad, but it's amazing. And you know what else is amazing? Along with these big, huge animals that are in the ocean, there are these teeny tiny animals in the ocean. And like plankton is super small. A shrimp can be super small. And they live in the ocean alongside these giant animals. And some of these giant animals actually eat these teeny tiny animals, and it keeps them alive. It's pretty amazing. Um, the other thing is that there are they have there's ugly animals. I'm just gonna say I don't think they're very cute. The hatchet fish, oh, kind of ugly, big eyes, clear skin, like something you see in a scary movie or whatever. There's the angler fish. I think that was in Finding Nemo, where the light came off, and there's like a pole, hangs a little light down. It has this teeth, and as the little fish swims up, like, what's this cute little light? And the fish goes, ah, eats it. That's an angular fish. I don't think those are very cute. But it also has some of the most beautiful fish and beautiful creatures uh, in I think on the earth, like the parrotfish, dolphins, the sea turtle, the clownfish. I personally think octopi are very beautiful creatures. I love to watch them, and so I mean, just amazing animals out there. The ocean is truly amazing, which is why we need to protect it. And that's just the last thing I'll say is that it's important that we never throw trash into the ocean when we're visiting. We're never disrespectful to, you know, the fact that we have a beach, that we have a pretty place that we can go to and walk and have feel the waves go crashing on our feet. We don't want to be throwing our trash in the ocean. When we're home, though, we want to reuse what we can. We don't just want to throw it away and be wasteful. We want to reduce the amount of trash we use and generate, and we want to recycle because that keeps the trash that goes into our trash can from eventually being put in the ocean. If you don't make the trash, it doesn't have to go in a landfill or in the ocean. And because when trash goes into the ocean, then sometimes it can kill animals. And that's really sad. All right. So I also wanted to make sure that you knew that I didn't just make all this stuff up. I did a lot of research. I was thinking about how to best just talk to you guys about the ocean, but a majority of the information I got was from this book called The Mighty Ocean. How I kind of decided to structure my lesson today was on this book, The Mighty Ocean, and it's by, you can see, Marvin Berger, and it's actually it's a big book. It's a large book, which is one reason I didn't hold it up because it's really awkward. And it's a Ranger Rick. It's a Ranger Rick Science Spectacular. So if you guys are interested in learning more about what I talked about today, you can look at this book. You can go online and look at lots of other books. It's also important to what we call cite our source, which means let people know where we came up with this information. So we know that people just aren't making stuff up to sound smart, that we actually have taken the time and done the work to do the research. I hope you guys have a great week. I hope you guys watch this a couple times because there's a ton of information in here. And if you guys have questions, explore, try to find answers, be a good learner. All right, have a great day. Bye.